All right. Hi, everyone. How's everyone in the room? I didn't hear you. Again? Let's go. All right. Nice to have some people. Hope you're looking for this run. It's going to be about Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And I'm going to do a category called Ganondorf Source Requirement, which is basically what it means. I have to get all the items required normally to beat Ganondorf in this run. So I'm going to do a couple of tricks. And you'll see me, the run is going to be about 1 hour and 30 minutes. The estimate right now is at 1 hour and 35. And I'm going to get a couple items here and there. And you'll see me get a bunch of medallions, not all of them. And hopefully it's going to be explained well during the run. I got 2 cool commentators with me right now that's going to help a bit. So I guess, do you want to present yourselves?
Yeah. Days fan. I normally run a little bit of it, but I fairly know a little bit about it.
Perfect. In that case, I'll rely on you to explain everything that's going on in the round, right?
Yeah.
All right. And what's your name right there?
I'm Ashter. I ran this game a few years ago. I mostly run Super Match right now, but I still know a fair bit about this.
Yeah, of course. So I guess we're gonna start a run right ahead. The incentive was for me to run the game ban. For the people that know about it, it's about a creepypasta of someone that drowned. Anyway, I don't want to go further into it since we have to start right ahead. So is the timer ready? Perfect. So it's gonna be in 3, 2, 1, go.
The Ben meme is so old.
So you probably noticed right now that the game is in Japanese. One of the reasons is because the game is faster that way. The text goes faster just in general. At the first, there's not going to be much moving, mostly mashing buttons to skip the text, because I have to wait about 3 minutes for to be able to really fully start the run. So in the meantime, I guess, we talked a bit about the category earlier, about what I have to gain. So we're not going to chase Stage Child for long. So what's going to happen at first, I'm going to get out of Kokiri Forest. I'm going to get a sword, get the shield, get out as soon as possible. And as soon as possible, I'm going to go to the bottom of the well to get bomb shoes, because I'm going to need some explosive before. Then right on to Zelda and to the Temple of Time, so I can skip directly to get the adult sword and start the rest of the run.
Yeah, so GSR is basically, it's sort of, you do a lot, but not a lot at the same time.
Yeah, basically, like for the people that are interested in the Ocarina of Time speedrun, I'm not doing the 80% category, which is done in about 60 minutes right now, if I recall. And I'm not doing the 100% where I'm gaining every single items in the game. So it's gonna be a mix in between, where I'm gonna get some of the items, some of the medallions, just enough to see a bunch of the game. Not every dungeon, but enough to see some cool tricks, I believe so. So it's gonna be a fun ride, I think.
Yeah, so basically, the main focus of the run is to be able to kill Ganondorf using the light arrows, and because it's a source requirement, we're not allowed to glitch the light arrows into our inventory using things like get item manipulation. Those are tricks that other categories can use. Any percent uses it to get a bottle in your inventory. But basically, weird stuff like that just glitches stuff into your inventory, we're not using that in this run. So we have to get light arrows legitimately, and to do that we have to get the Shadow and Spirit medallions, which we also have to get legitimately, so we have to beat Shadow and Spirit to do that. The child dungeons don't matter because we can just clip through the Door of Time with a trick called Door of Time Skip. That's really common in Ocarina of Time speedruns. It's done almost every category that isn't glitchless.
Exactly. And GSR, if you're not known about this category, it's the new name for an old category that's called NoIMWW, which stands for Item Manipulation Wrong Warp. So I'm not allowed to use any item manipulation tricks like Reverse Ball Adventure. So you'll not see me manipulating a bottle to get items I want. And I'll also not do any wrong warps. That means that I cannot warp from one place to another in a way that's not intended, let's say.
Yeah, obviously the big thing that wrong warp breaks is it lets you go straight to the end of the game, and that's what 90% is, and that's why it's so short. So that's why it kind of has to be banned in this category.
Yes. And let's start right now.
All right, so you are getting the sword, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, there's different routes you can do for the forest actually, but he's gonna go get Kokiri sword. and get enough rupees for the Deku Shield. The Deku Shield is going to be used for a trick called Ocarina of Dive in bottom of the wall, which is going to soon. It's a pretty fast way to get the bomb shoes from there. And I think that's the main purpose of actually buying the Deku Shield here.
I think we have to explain why I go backwards most of the time.
Because
I guess it's faster. The only reason. We do back walk, and for a distance of more than 4 rolls, it's just faster in general. So you'll see me back walk a lot in this game.
I thought it was because you liked looking at the scenery.
Not necessarily. But
No, I guess not. It's kind of an old game.
It just goes faster in general.
It does.
So there's a couple fairly tough tricks that he's going to do in the forest itself. One of them is, I think it's called Bridge Clip. There's a frame perfect, or it might be 2 frame. 1 or 2 frame jump slash.
It's 1 frame.
Okay, yeah. He's going to do it coming up right here, actually. He's going to climb onto this fence and do a very precise jump slash to try and get on that bridge. If you touch the underside of it, you get warped up on the top of it, and it's going to let him get the blue rupee up there really fast.
I just want to say it's pretty tight timing when it comes to that.
Yeah, and he does the jump slash there, actually, to get movement into where the text trigger is, while the text is going on, so that saves a little bit of time.
Alright, there's going to be a fun trick coming off with the extended super slide angle, which is going to be explained right afterwards.
Yeah, so he's going to do a little bit of a setup for this. He's going to recoil off this and get... This is the extended super slide. And he's going to try and talk to the guard on a particular frame. I don't think he is...
No, I don't have it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't have the sword.
This trick is really tough. There are a few different ways to clip into this guard, and using the extended super slide like that is probably the fastest way, because the extended super slide itself gets you good movement over to him. So if you talk to him on the right frame when you're moving into him, then you clip into him.
Oh my god.
This is kind of the alternate method that people did for years. This trick is like 10 years, 10 years old or more. So if you stab the wall with the right angle and you talk to him on the right frame, you actually clip through him. It is coincidentally the same frame that gets you a glitch called Infinite Sword Glitch.
Yeah.
But the ISG isn't important for this.
Okay.
ISG is important for a lot of other stuff later, but it's actually just a coincidence that you get it here.
Oh my god, it's not gonna work, is it? Okay, wait a second. I'm gonna get it. There you go.
There we go.
Nice.
So now he's like inside the ring where that guard is blocking. It actually, like, it seems like it only goes in a semicircle, but it goes in a full ring. So you actually have to roll in a particular way to escape the ring once you're inside it.
I never had that worse of a beginning. I think it was like 15 tries.
I just want to say it's quite crazy that they're figuring out how to escape that years ago. Not years ago, but 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
if it can ease you from that guard that was blocking the way, we got a $6 donation from Actually I'm Jerome saying hi.
Hi.
Oi.
Thanks, Jerome.
Oh, there's also another way, another method to escape the forest, which required you to go to Lostwood.
Yes.
It's also calling as well the Navy Dive.
Well, there's an Ivy dive. You can actually clip in the rock as well to go in.
It's pretty precise.
It requires setups. What fun thing actually about Ocarina of Time is that most of the setups can actually be set up, of course, which means that you can actually go to a certain place and jump a bunch of places so that you can get exactly the right angle and the right setup. And you'll see me do a bunch of stuff in the run.
Yeah, so when you backflip or side hop, if you do it on flat ground, then it basically it happens in a very quantifiable amount of distance every time. Like a side hop will be the same distance every time. So you're essentially on a grid where you can measure exactly how many side hops or backflips or whatever you want to go, and you can use side rolls to get very specific angles. And there are setups that people have done research into calculating how exactly to get a very specific angle, target off a wall, and then everything you do is in reference to targeting the wall, basically. It'll be more apparent what we're talking about later. Particularly Dork time skip uses a setup for that that'll explain. And you'll see what I mean.
Did we explain the ESS angle?
No, he didn't actually. So he's about to do another extended super slide, or ESS. Gonna recoil off this fence. But what he does to actually get the slide out of the water here is you have to hold very slightly on the control stick just outside of the dead zone. Basically the minimum input that the game can register on the control stick, you have to be holding that amount.
Nice.
Oh, is cool, huh?
Nice.
I'm gonna try to do the Coco dive before doing the Navi dive. It works sometimes, but I'm not very consistent at it in general.
Yeah, so this, he's going to interrupt, he's basically going to fall in the water to get into the well, but he's going to interrupt falling into the water with the cutscene of the Coco getting angry. That's called the cutscene dive.
Nice.
And during a cutscene, the game just ignores the fact that he falls into the water.
There's another method as well. We are already mentioning the knife dive, but yeah, those are the two only options we can go for going to the well earlier.
Oh yeah, Navi dive works for that too. It's basically the same idea.
It's just like the most safe one if you ever miss.
I get hit on purpose right here. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh.
It's for a setup earlier, later on.
I didn't realize that was on purpose actually, but I think I see why. Okay, so he's going to get infinite sword glitch here by crouch stabbing and interrupting it with an action. In this case, it's talking to the keys, but in a lot of cases, it's like reading a sign or picking up a pot or whatever. Infinite sword glitch lets you do another glitch called hovering, and he's gonna take damage to his shield in midair. You can't fall off a ledge while you're swinging your sword, and the game thinks you're swinging your sword, so it'll let him stick in the air because shielding damage in the air forces into a standing animation. And so that dive that he did, when he pulled the Ocarina, the game tried to snap him to the ground, which it was able to do because he was on the very, very edge of where the ground was kind of supposed to be. But it didn't actually put him on the ground because he wasn't close enough to it, so it made him fall straight down through that hole. So now he's in the unloaded basement because the game didn't actually load the basement while he was falling in it because it was busy with the Ocarina cutscene. So getting out of bounds there, he can get bomb shoes. There's kind of a weak collision in the ceiling that he can clip through.
An example for the ESS right here, I'm holding the ESS position right here. And it's a small gap that you can hold. So basically it makes you turn on yourself, and there's no speed gap for that position, as probably explained earlier. So that explains why I fly off when I hold that position in the bomb animations and such.
Yeah. If you somehow gain any speed while you're in that position, then you'll just keep it, essentially. ESS is used for quite a lot of things. Yeah, it's used for some setups. There's something called ESS turning, where if you know how many frames that you are in ESS position when you're turning the camera, you can know exactly how much you turn the camera. So that's useful for some setups.
Quick owl skip right here.
Oh yeah, he targets the sign to skip this owl. The ESS that you do on the way in also skips it. When you're moving while Link's shuffling his feet in ESS position, the game considers that a busy state for whatever reason, so it won't trigger cutscenes. And he's getting on this chain, gonna ride it up to get these 60 hidden rupees that are up here.
Yep.
And then he's gonna get 20 more from the box in the market.
Oh.
Oh.
It's okay. I can actually go back afterwards. I'm not sure why I didn't get it.
Yeah,
I was worried that could happen, but whatever.
I guess that's fine. The 20 rupees in this box here, it's only here at night.
Oh my god, the RNG there.
Wow. Yeah, that bounces into a random spot. You kind of want it to bounce to the right.
Yeah, I hate whenever it just happens like that.
Just to make me remember to pick it up after Zelda, please. The 5 rupees.
Oh, so he's going to do another owl skip here. The game will not trigger the owl texts if you're busy doing something at the same time. And the thing that he's doing that's preventing it is weapon switching, pulling out a weapon. So there was actually even some owl text trigger at the top of that vine there, and that's why he had to buffer pulling out the sword and then buffer the side hop out of that.
There was a couple of perfect tricks in that trick, and I'm proud of having doing it. So
Yeah, that was nice.
shouts to me.
Yeah, jumping across to skip that guard. The guards have worse line of sight at night. During the day, that jump doesn't work. That guard will catch you. And so now he's going to use a bomb chew to damage boost across the moat here. If he does a jump slash at the right time, which he's going to do it like kind of after it explodes here. After the bomb chew explodes, you're no longer holding it, so you have some time to be able to jump slash, and then jump slash gets you enough height for the damage to knock you onto the ledge.
That took so much time. What? Oh, that's because of the. That's because of the owl skip.
Yeah, the owl skip actually does save you a little bit of time of day as well, because the part of the cutscene when the owl's flying away after you talk to it, time passes during that. So if you start doing owl skips, it will change time of day a little bit. And it has to be day for you to enter this crawl space. Otherwise,
Hit the guards.
there are 2 guards right at the front that will catch you no matter what. This is one of the most frustrating parts of.
Where is he? Oh, he's right there.
Oh,
Go.
yeah.
I
Wow.
have such bad luck. Full guards.
That's really frustrating. Depending on what method you use to get past here, it can be easy to get caught.
Like, there's a way to get past it very easily is by frame perfect jumping every frame that you land on the jump so that the guards don't see you. But I'm a chicken. All right, so we're gonna talk to Zelda for a bit.
Zelda River is pretty important in the game as well. I have to say it's one of the few songs that required you to keep progressing through the game.
Yes, exactly. At a couple of places, I'm gonna have to do the Zelda's Lullaby so I can get past places. Especially to get magic, because magic is required to use the light arrows, so I'm gonna have to get magic in my run as well.
Yeah, until we found Wrong Warp to Ganon, there was no way to skip magic or light arrows at all.
Exactly. But we cannot use wrong warps in that category, so that defeats the purpose. So we're gonna have about like a minute, maybe or 2 of cutscenes. So if there are any donations, now would be the time.
Well, there's no donation, but I think Zelda is saying to Link that you can still give for the milestone for the Link to the Past randomizer Kisanity run tonight. If you want the whole dungeon run, you still can give to reach that milestone. That is $3,500. So keep donating.
Oh, Key Sanity All Dungeons is a real trip. Like, All Dungeons includes Aghanim's Tower, so that means you have to find the 2 Castle Tower keys as well.
I'm pretty sure that's what Zelda was saying to Link. You must give for that milestone.
So normally during the Zelda cutscene, you're supposed to learn Zelda Blueberry by Impa, and what Mork is gonna do is once he's done with Zelda talking, he's probably gonna go straight into the wall, do like side flip, not side flip, like side ups, until to a point where he's just gonna just ESS correctly and just trying to just use the bomb shoe in order to just kill himself.
Well, you'll see I'm gonna use the shield turn instead,
Yeah,
because I'm
exactly.
more constant with that. But what's gonna happen exactly is that you saw me like taking damage throughout bottom of the well until I got to Zelda, and you probably noticed that I have half a heart, which is on purpose because I'm gonna kill myself right in front of Impa, and that like at the same time exactly that the cutscene starts. So basically, I'm gonna skip that cutscene and still get the Zelda's Lullaby, even though I died, which is the whole purpose of it. And you were skipping about the 2 or 3 minutes cutscene with that. Which is,
Yeah,
well, I mean, maybe 2 minutes, but whatever.
Yeah, because the game actually puts the song in your inventory at the very start of the cutscene.
I'll say it's one of my favorite tricks in the game.
It's kind of fun. It's like, go big and go die.
Yeah.
And we're about to see it right now. So precise jumps right here. There you go.
Nice.
Oh no, dramatic.
Yeah, so the fact that a side op is the same distance every time, it makes it really easy to do setups like that. You know exactly where you're standing.
Especially if you're coming from, I have to go upside right there. Normally I would go right there, but I have to go up here because I missed a rupee.
Yeah, I was about to say the ruby. What about it? There it is.
So he wants 80 rupees here, so he can buy the Hylian shield, so that he has a shield to use as adult. But the shield is very important in general, because it's required to do infinite sword glitch and to do hovering.
Quick chat right here, not on purpose.
And it's also required to shield drop explosives as well. The most efficient way to drop things is to shield drop them. And the game the game doesn't really intend for you to do it. They just kind of didn't really think about it, but it's the fastest. You don't have like a put down animation.
But basically, the infinite sword glitch that we talked about earlier is going to be very useful because you can actually float with that trick, and we're going to use that later on with the Spirit Sample. All right, so it's going to be the door time skip. There are full setups for it, but I'm going for pillar zoom right here.
Yeah, so if you do a roll after doing a side up like that, for whatever reason, the game gives you a side roll. And
I'm not sure why I didn't pause. Sorry.
It's all good.
Oh yeah, you said you were gonna pause for this.
Yeah.
So door time skip, he gets a pretty particular angle. It's not that precise, actually. You can kind of eyeball it too. That's what people used to do. But there is a giant crack in this side of the door that you can actually do an angled side hop through. So if you do a side roll and you do a side hop on a particular frame, the side roll kind of alters the trajectory of your side hop. So it goes a little bit backwards, and with the right angle, it goes through this crack. And so him jump slashing on the right frame, let him get through the door.
Thank you.
Yeah, but pose on buff, it's like not posing off buff, it's greatly hard sometimes.
I did it like while practicing, but I don't know.
I remember I used to practicing with the swordless one. It was really a ride, I'll say.
The swordless one's a lot more precise, because you have to target the door on a particular frame, and the angle that you get is less forgiving.
Yeah. That's why having a sword is so useful.
There's a 2-frame window for the door time skip with the sword, but the problem is the first frame that Link disappears from the camera, you need to hold left during the jump slash, and the second frame, you have to hold up, otherwise you'll clip back in.
Which is the reason actually why I missed the trick on buffers, because I was holding it left because I thought I had the first frame, but I had the second frame, so I fell down because I'm not aiming for it. It's very tricky.
It also takes a lot of time to hit the void out in that room, so if you miss it, if you're too late, you're wasting a lot of time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's basically, it's not actually frame perfect, but it might as well be, because you have to hold a different direction for each of the 2 frames. So for like all the things that you can do to skip cutscenes in this game, we can't skip the first part of Zelda, and we can't skip this whole Light Medallion Master Sword Sheik sequence. There's actually 3 cutscenes in a row.
Well, there's the first one, that's about 3 minutes, where you have to start at the beginning of the game, which is very bothersome if you try to speedrun that game. That means that every time you fail, you have to watch that 3 minutes cutscene, and you're like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna watch some Smash videos in the meantime, whatever. And this one is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And we have another one right near the end, right before Ganondorf. That's about, 4 minutes and 30 seconds as well.
And this was a lot worse to deal with before the community switched to like standardizing running on the Japanese version. We used to just run on English because that's what we had. This was like 10 years ago.
Well, something we cannot skip is the $20 donation from Janan, who's saying, "Oh oui, monsieur."
Thanks, Baz. We have Jano in our Smash community, which is basically Ganondorf, where we just call him Jano. And we kind of like him in the Smash community, with a lot of Doria and Smash attacks. Oh, by the way, shout-outs à René Angélil. Vous trouvez pas qu'il ressemble à René Angélil, le gars?
Moi, je trouve
Non, tu trouves pas?
Non, je trouve pas.
Probablement pas dans les derniers jours, en tout cas.
Non, c'est sûr. Rip. All right, so it's not over yet. We still have to talk to Sheik. And right afterwards, what's going to happen is as soon as the cutscene is done with Sheik, I'm going to equip the bomb shoes on my Y button, which is basically C left for that game. And I'm going to reset my console after saving.
Yeah, because the door time is actually still there, and it's not one-sided. There's a lot of walls in this game that are one-sided. If you're on the wrong side, you can just walk through, but the door time is not one of them. It's actually a pretty big object.
Well, there's actually a trick to make it pass from that way with Adult Link, but it requires Nari's Love, if I recall.
It requires hover boots.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't have that yet. I'm going to get that later on, but not right now.
Yeah.
So basically right now I'm like soft locked in that part of the game unless I save.
Yeah. A long time ago, people used to do like single segment runs of the game that disallowed saving. And one thing that was a major change in that is you had to actually go into Shadow Temple as Child to get the hover boots to get out of here because you weren't allowed to do this save warp.
Indeed. Let's say warps are allowed in that category. Well, I mean, it's allowed in any category.
It's allowed in every category now. Like times have changed a lot since then. And yeah, this game's kind of this game can, especially with the glitches that we do, it can trap you in a lot of situations if you don't if you aren't allowed to save and quit. So we're just gonna do that here.
Did I get it?
I think probably.
Yeah.
I think so. I hope so, because if I didn't get it, that is going to be hard to recover
it
from.
saves instantly, so you should be fine.
I heard
I
the
hope
song, so it should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
See? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, normally I wait for like 3 notes to hit, and now I only waited for 1 and was a bit scared, to be honest. That would be a 20 minutes time loss.
Yeah.
Not something you want in a marathon.
Yeah, that's true.
So
A lot
now
of,
we're
a lot of the
gonna-
older games save instantly, though. Like, they save earlier than you would think.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go to the graveyard to get the hook shot, and from right there we're going to go into the Shadow Temple and just beat it. Shadow Temple has hover boots, which helps a lot with, it allows you to do a lot of tricks, so it's super useful to get those quickly.
Guys, when you will have time, if you do, I think there's a bit of confusion in the chat about what is GSR. If you have a bit of time to re-explain it for some people that might not understand, that will be, we will be very grateful.
Yeah, of course, I'll explain it right now, because there's not like big tricks coming up instead, unless maybe for the hook shot. It's not a very trick, it's just maneuver. But basically, GSR means Ganondorf's requirements. So I have to get every single item from Ganondorf without use of wrong warps or item manipulation, and then beat him like sort of the normal way, I guess. For the people that know about Ocarina of Time speedrunning, this is the new category name for No I Am Wrong Warp.
Yeah, this got voted on. There was a community vote recently to change the name of this because people were concerned about like finding like even more glitches that would break the rule, or like not break the rules but change what you had to do for the category. So the category goal basically is to kill the game, or beat the game by killing Ganondorf, and being required to get all the stuff that you need to kill Ganondorf through natural means. That's what the source requirement part means. So you can't glitch light arrows or the medallions into your inventory, but the glitches that let you do that. You have to get it all like quote-unquote legit.
Man, Dampe sure loves you, man.
Yeah, Dampe, when he throws the fire, it's completely random trajectory, so small glitch right here to get past that. So basically, since the trajectory are random, your timing depends solely on the fact if he likes you or not in that run.
Yeah, one thing about the race is that Dampe can be rammed down sometimes. Sometimes it can be really cool, sometimes it can. Oh, just throwing fire everywhere.
It's okay. That was a good mix of getting hit by the fire randomly and myself bonking into the walls. A nice showing of no skill.
Hey, at least it's sub 1.
Yeah,
That's fine
please.
by me.
At least you don't have to do the race again.
No, 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 no. I really want to make sure to not drop down, or else I'd have to do that over again. So now that we have the hook shot, we can do a bunch of cool tricks with it.
He's
break
going,
the game.
He's going to get back to the start of the area to get back in the graveyard right away here by just side hopping into the door and letting it crush him.
Well, I would like to if I was able to. Oh, no, I'm not. Wait a second.
I can't believe you're going back to the chest to set up again.
No, just to make sure, because I could have actually got stuck there, and I would have killed the run, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, you just save warp out of that. You have to walk back to Kakariko, that's like the main risk.
Yeah.
So this glitch is called hookshot jump, and I have no idea why it works.
There's a big explanation for it, but it's a bit technical, and I don't want to get into the details as well. I have 2 frames to learn that trick right after this one. All right. We're gonna get ISG on the top. Come on.
Yeah, so ISG here, he interrupted the crouch tab with talking to Navi by targeting the Poe, getting the Poe's information from Navi. ISG, the game thinks he's slashing his sword, so he can't fall off the ledge. There are a couple places on this scene where you can actually get stuck.
Yes.
And fall off and have to do it again. So some corners of that scene are kind of scary, but
Anyway, the whole purpose was to get into Shadow Temple early, so we did. Fun times.
yeah, if you side hop over the stairs there, you skip the loading trigger for the door, so the door just is not there, and you don't have to open it with Dinspire.
I didn't know about that. but fun to know. Not what I want to do, whatever. I'm jump slashing here so that, like, because when the text pops off, I can actually jump slash get just a bit further, so just a little neat trick.
Yeah, that's basically what he did in the forest earlier with the girl on top of the shop.
Come on. Normally I can hit in one try, but the timing is a bit precise. Alright, so it's going to be a really cool trick coming off with how to bounce stuff. It's going to be hard to follow, so we're going to explain probably afterwards.
Yeah, I can give it a shot right now. So
Yeah.
he's going to do a setup to stand and face a very particular direction, and he's going to do a bomb shoot mega flip. I'll explain mega flip some other time, I think, but
I missed it. Whatever. I'm going to do it there.
but so this is going to get him enough speed, and in a very particular angle to let him clip through the ground in the corner of the room, and it's going to put him out of bounds. And with the momentum, that'll actually let him fall all the way to the room with the boss door. So when you're in a dungeon, the collision for every single room is loaded. None of the objects or actors or anything in them are loaded, but all the walls are still there. So he's going to be in the boss door room, and he's going to do a setup to blindly navigate his way to the boss door. Now he can't open it, one, because the door doesn't work because it's not loaded, and two, because he doesn't have the boss key. But there is a boss key skip for this. He's doing this all blind. So that's the door that he just stabbed to get him into a particular position. He's going to release this bomb shoot at a particular time during its flashing, and then walk and roll and do a ledge clip here. Ledge clip is when you hit Z target on the first frame that Link hangs off the ledge, and it lets you clip into it. So if you take damage during that or get hit, then you can get knocked right through a wall that's next to it.
The bus, the pause buffer is like different every time I open the console, dude. It's weird. And I just want to make sure that they don't skip that frame, because if I skipped it, I had to start all over again. It's a 1 frame. Well, with the position I had anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the infinite sword glitch right here to get rid of the boss really easily without the lens of truth. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, if you hold down, actually, that's what keeps the hands in front of you there.
Easy.
Yeah, right now it is, because like before that I didn't use to keep my hook shot. I just started trying to turn around and whatever, and that wasn't constant.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of careful when you're using the hookshot for the hands on this boss because you cannot shoot the hookshot in midair. So if he bounces the drum and you go flying and you shoot it at the wrong time, you aren't able to shoot him.
Funny thing though, with the infinite sword glitch, you don't bounce, even if the hands smash on the floor, so you can actually just stay on the ground.
Oh, if you get it right away. Right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I actually didn't realize that.
We're just getting the heart right here, just by, of course, a bit of precaution in general.
Yeah, this is the only heart container that we're going to get.
Yes. So right now, within the Shadow Temple, the only temple left, well, not really, like the only boss temple left is the one from Spirit. We're gonna have to go into First Temple as well to get the bow, but we're not gonna fight the boss there. But basically, right in between Shadow and Spirit Temple, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the bombs in the Dongo Cavern, then I'm gonna get the magic, and then I'm gonna go straight to Forest Temple, but I'm not gonna stay there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna die at the same time that I get the cutscene to get the Menu de Forest, which is a song required to go back to Forest Temple as soon as I'm finished with Spirit Temple. So it's a bit of a time saver there.
Yeah, so you only need the Shadow and Spirit medallions to get the Light Arrow cutscene to trigger because when they were making the game, they assumed that Shadow medallion would require Nocturne of Shadow to warp to it, and to get Nocturne of Shadow, you need the other three medallions, Fire, Forest, and Water. So the game just assumes that you would have them already, so it only checks for Shadow and Spirit.
And as soon as you have the Shadow Spirit Medallion, normally when you go back to the Temple of Time, the cutscene to open the Ganondorf's Way is actually starting. So from there you can actually just go to Ganondorf's Tower, even though you don't have all the medallions, which is very practical for this run.
Do we have a bit of time for a quick donation?
Yes, of course, go ahead.
$21.37 from Prez Lord Janin. 1 hour 35 minutes GSR, more like 1 hour 37 GSR. Make it real. Oh, we miss you.
Oh, we miss you. I'm sorry for cutting the commentary. It's just, you guys. There's a huge meme in the Smash Brothers community for a game, an illegal game I'm not going to mention on Twitch, but basically we have a meme with the number 137. That, like in 137, the number happens to appear a lot in the percentage of the Smash games, and a lot of fun stuff happens when someone is at 137%, so spread the word.
There's a lot of mistakes in this run that could cause you to get a 137 for sure.
I know. I hope I'm not getting there, though.
Hopefully not. This running this game is pretty it's pretty tough. There's a lot of really punishing things that can happen.
Oh, definitely.
I'm gonna do a bunch of safe setups where I can save, so that if I miss the trick, I'll be able to start over again by just resetting. But normally I wouldn't do that in trying to get a personal best, simply because sick.
Oh, that really sucks actually.
Well, it's not that bad. But
It's not that bad, but the bomb shoes make Spirit Hover a lot easier. So if you waste one, it's
just a bummer, you know.
yeah. We'll get to that later. Spirit Hover is a trick outside of Spirit Temple. It saves like 4 minutes because you can get the Mirror Shield right away, just climbing the front.
I just realized I missed the cycle because of that. Oh no.
Oh yeah, that's also bad.
It's okay.
Nice thing about being adult here is that you can just climb up to this ledge that you're supposed to go all the way around to get.
Yeah, DC is getting extremely easier as an adult, I'll say.
Because if you do remember, you're not supposed to be an adult right here. It's actually a child temple. But we're only here just to get the bombs, actually. Oh, really? Come on. Movement in this game can be weird sometimes.
I think ladders are just bad.
Yeah, in general, it's just badly coded.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Only have 2 bomb shoots for Spirit Hover, but I thought that's gonna be okay. As soon as I don't get like the camera unlock, I should be good. I'll hope to get it.
Yeah, it's just nice because you can get bomb shoes to explode instantly in the air. Bombs you have to wait, so you have to time the hovers correctly.
So to get the bombs, we're like right about like 2 or 3 scenes from there. We're gonna do a trick where I jump a specific angle, so I grab a ledge of a platform, and from there I can just go straight to the bombs. Oh boy. Just make sure. Yeah, because I got hit by the bat, I wasn't sure if I was at the right position.
Yeah, if you get knocked down here, that wastes a lot of time. That's kind of scary. It's not too bad if you like have the right angle going into the room, but oh, how did that not grab? Really?
I've been getting back for a while these days. I'm not sure why. I think it's my angle is a bit bad. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's weird. I normally use that way. That's how it's weird seeing that it didn't work out.
Are you not holding the control stick the right way?
No,
like
I am. Sometimes it's just the game hates me, you know? It's the fault of the game, it's not the input.
Do you usually grab the... Do you usually try and grab the ledge on the right side or the left?
The left, I believe. Pretty sure. Well, you know, I can actually just do that. There you go. There you go.
Here we go.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be that hard. It just... No.
There's actually one thing to say about explosions and Ocarina of Time. They're like, I'll say it's one of the few items that requiring you kind of go still in the progress. Like knowing the glitches is great, but having explosions and acknowledging the glitches helps a lot of it. Because as the guys were mentioning, like example, Hover Spirit will be an example. It allows you to go to a lot of places that you're not going to be able.
Yeah, bomb chews are, they're kind of finite. You have to get them all from chests or drops or buying them, and they're really expensive. Bombs, you can get bomb drops from grass, so there are places that you'd be able to refill on them if you needed to. But bomb chews are kind of like if you waste them, you're not really getting them back. The bombs are also going to let him do some more tricks. They're generally better for doing tricks with. There's a trick called Super Slide that he's going to do when he gets back to Hyrule Fields. Super Slides require... they require a damage source and a grabbable object, and the bomb is really good for them because the bomb serves as both of those things. Also, you can get ISG by grabbing a bomb and then use the bomb as the damage source for the hover, so they're just really useful.
We got $9.78 from Anonymous with only a wink in comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. Shouts to RuPaul. So now we just got magic, which is gonna be used for 2 places. One, we're gonna slash the sword and spin around while we're gonna be in the Ganon Tower, and of course, it's gonna be used for the light arrows as well.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Huh?
I guess that's it.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So now we're going to go out of here. And we're going to do a bunch of manipulations so that I get my heart very low on health. So that I die later for the Forest Temple cutscene skip.
Yeah, so there's a sculpture in that rock. And if you're at a decent angle, you can actually like sort of clip through the rock and still get damaged by it. So there's also that shortfall that he just did to take half a heart. You can, if you do a short enough fall, you can negate the damage by holding forward and rolling. But he actually wants the heart of damage here. And jumping off, skipping that ledge there as well, also lets him take another half heart.
And this one as well. So we're basically the hearts I want. There's another trick right here.
Known as the middle skip. It's a pretty easy trick. You need to be positioning in the right spot, just like that. But normally, like the most easiest way would be like aiming toward the trees, the top, like the trees of the.
Another trick right here.
Oh, this is called a ground jump. This is it's kind of similar in execution to a super slide. There's a state that you can get Link in that's kind of like a shield lock state. If you try and grab a bomb and shield it at the same time, then Link just stands still and holds his shield there. And if you take damage to the shield when you're in this state, it stores something called a ground jump. And for whatever reason, that just lets you jump straight up when you input a backflip.
I'll say the ground jump's quietly the most easiest trick.
I just skipped the first cutscene, by the way, with a precise position when exposed the bombs and such.
Yeah, so he actually he lined up with the Moblin's butt there, so that when he pulls out the bomb and walks all the way backwards from there, the bomb timer actually goes off at the correct time to push him into the cutscene and skip Minuet Forest cutscene. Basically, the same way that the Zelda's Lullaby one worked.
We're gonna do our first super slide right here
Yeah.
to get to Gear the Fortress faster.
So super slides and ground jumps are actually kind of related. So you want to get the ground jump state, but in addition to it, if you get a ground jump while you have invincibility, you go flying backwards instead of just getting a ground jump. I'm not really sure why that works, but they are related. So he put 2 bombs down there to make it easier. You can do it off of the same bomb, but it's much more difficult. The bomb on the left acted as the damage source, and the bomb on the right acted as the grabbable object. And you're invincible for a few frames at the end of your roll, so that's what allowed the invincibility factor to work, to make it a ground jump and not a super slide. So actually, if you have Nehru's Love, if you use Nehru's Love, and you set up a normal ground jump without rolling, that will also get you a super slide because it counts as the same kind of invincibility.
Indeed. We're gonna do a fun trick right here. Sort of the same mechanic where I'm gonna do mega bad jump to get past that lead with the hover boots.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to do this, but the mega side hop here is probably the easiest and most consistent, and it only costs 1 bomb. So with that mega side hop, equipping hover boots before you hit the ground lets you keep your momentum for a little bit. Gets them across that bridge. You can also super slide across it. If you super slide and equip the hover boots, that's called a hover slide. That would actually get him to super slide all the way here, but it's a bit more difficult to set up because of the way that the bridge is sloped, and it costs more bombs to do that. I never really explained mega flips either. I guess I'll get to that in a bit, but he's gonna do a gate skip here. Oh, actually, you're gonna use the mega side hop for this, yes, as well, right? Yeah, okay. So there's a few different ways to do this as well. The way that people did this for, the most common way that people did this, I think, used no explosives, and was done from on top of the jail cell, but he's going to use a bomb mega side hop from the top of the jail cell here. He's actually going to hook shot in a particular way to clip through the ceiling as well, to get to the top of the jail quickly.
Okay.
But yeah, if you do a mega side hop and equip hover boots to carry the momentum from it, if you do it with a particular angle here, you can clip through the corner of the wall here, where it meets the box, I think. And you go out of bounds a little bit, but you pop out on this. You pop out on basically the side of the mountain that's on the other side of the gate. So there is a way to get onto that part of the mountain without any explosives at all, but this is quite a bit safer, I think. Oh, are you going for Wasteland House?
I did the fast instead. I only have one, like, because I lost the bump shot, remember? So I can only do it once to be safe.
All right. Okay, so so you can use ESS to rocket like through this entire area. It's really tough to do. So the first part, you're supposed to use the flags here as kind of a guide. The zone that you're allowed to walk in, actually, there's a big straight path that actually works here. The second part, you're supposed to obviously have the lens of truth to see the Poe here.
Normally we'd lead the lens of truth to get this pattern because there's a lot of places where I could just warp out. But we can actually just memorize exactly where to go and we'd be good to go.
Yeah, basically the way Wasteland works is there are just invisible kill planes all over the place that'll void you out if you touch them. And if you just know where to go to avoid them, you can just do that.
Actually, I just remember that like I can't have enough bombs, just that like I'm gonna farm them anyway or later. So.
Oh, I guess yeah, true. So you're gonna be doing something I guess a bit different than most people would do here.
No. Well, people would actually just use the bombs to go further, but oh no, all right. Okay. But it's okay. I'll do it the normal way. There's a way to use the bomb to go faster right here, but as I said, normally in the category, I have to take an account of the bombs I have because I have a specific amount of bombs that I can use before I can farm again for them. But I want to do it the respectable way. But speaking of the respectable ways, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do in my runs, which is actually safe here because there's actually it's going to be a bit harder to pull off in general the trick I'm going to do. So I just want to make sure that I gate it. And if I miss it, I'm not going to be able to to spend like a million times in this temple. I want to do it the fun way, let's say.
Yeah, unfortunately, the save isn't very free because when you walk out of the temple, you have to watch the Requiem cutscene, which costs about a minute, I think.
Yeah, sort of.
So that's why you can't really do this as a safety for runs that you intend to PB on. But the trick he's going to be doing here is called Spirit Hover. It's pretty infamous. So he's going to get ISG off of the Gwei that's flying around here, and then kill it, and then start setting up the hover from a specific spot on the outside of the temple. For partway through the hover, he has to do something called unlocking his camera to be able to start facing the other way. So normally when you're hovering with ISG, your camera is locked and you can only face a single direction. To unlock the camera, you have to target something, and the only way that he's going to be able to target something is actually by targeting a bomb shoe
while I'm backflipping.
While backflipping and shield dropping it, there's going to be one frame where the bomb shoe still exists and it's not quite exploded yet, that he's going to be able to target it and unlock the camera. And then he has to relock the camera when he faces the other direction.
All right, let's go.
So he's only got 3 bomb shoes, so he has to get the camera unlock on one of these 3 bomb shoes. So that's a bit of a stressful part of this trick. The other stressful thing is that this Gwei respawns, and
yeah, the spawning is really nearby as well.
Yeah. So actually, where you are when you do the Spirit Hover, it's kind of random whether the Gwei actually detects you or not, for the most part. So there's a certain part of the Gwei cycle where it's going to be able to detect you or not, but it's not consistent. So you have to check for it every so often, and if you see that it's going to come for you, you have to be ready to hold your shield up. And it kind of sucks because you have to stop what you're doing and deal with it, and you have to be really careful because if you're not prepared for it, it will knock you down and you'll just lose all your explosives. Yeah, it's coming for him right now.
Yeah, there he goes.
So you just shield it, and then it'll run into your active sword hitbox because your sword hitbox is active because you have infinite sword glitch on, and you can just keep going. It does respawn again, though. So, but once he's high enough, you kind of want the top of that like awning to cover Link's ears, and then you can switch to Kokiri boots and backflip onto it. and then do an ESS turn to get a specific angle so that you can backflip onto the seam. And then walk up a little bit, and he's going to get high enough to hookshot the Silver Gauntlet's chest.
But it's not over.
Yeah. So now he has to do another super slide here. He has to do a hover slide to get across the gap to the Mirror Shield chest. You can't do the trick in reverse like on the other side of the temple because the Mirror Shield chest doesn't exist yet. You have to approach it to get it to drop down. And he just entered there for a bit of safety, so actually if he were to miss this hover slide and fall off, he would be able to just take damage from some levers to kill himself, and it would respawn him up on that side, so good job.
Thank you. This is the hardest trick in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's...
It really is.
I don't... It's very stressful, it's very high risk, but...
I mean, is this the hardest trick in that category, that's for sure. There are harder tricks, but whatever.
It has a lot of moving parts to it, and like none of the parts of it are too bad individually on its own, but it's just doing the whole thing in one shot and not being able to screw up. And again, it saves 4 minutes, so it really benefits you if you're able to do this. The alternative is kind of going through the front of the temple, and for the sake of showcasing getting Spirit Hover, that's why he saved in the front of the temple. Because otherwise, if you fail it and you run out of explosives, you can't retry it. You have no choice but to go through the front of the temple. So he's just he's killing these Armos to try and farm some bomb drops. They each have a 50% chance of dropping a bomb. I guess that one didn't die right away.
No, that was my fault. Oh my god, 3 bombs, let's go.
Wow. I hope those don't run out because you had to wait some extra time.
I know. I think it's gonna be okay though.
Yeah, so kind of the neat thing about they respawn, so if you don't get any bomb drops and you can just come back through the door, you can kill them again and hope for more. It kind of sucks if you continue to get bad luck, but 3 is really good there. I think you can get away with just going on with 2.
A hard trick coming up as well. I'm gonna skip a bunch of the doors so I can get to Naboru easily. But it's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, this is the boss key skip for this dungeon.
There are multiples, but yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but the way that he's going to do it is he's going to do a ledge clip, kind of like the one in Shadow Temple. He's going to put down a bomb and then do a ledge clip here, so that when he also lets go of the ledge on a specific frame, and I think you jump slash here to get the bomb to boost you inside the pillar.
Yep.
So all that is fairly precise. And then once you're inside the pillar, you have a very, very limited amount of space to work with to get a super slide. He's actually like placing both of those bombs in the exact same spot, pretty much. Yeah, that's how little space you have to work with here. You get a super slide, and then you put on hover boots, and your momentum's kind of backwards. So I think you're gonna hold. Is it down left here?
I left.
Yeah, or your left, yeah. And falls into the boss loading zone.
The thing is that I want to do that trick right here, but at the same time only lost 30 seconds, and I'm known to be very bad at it, so I don't think I'm gonna do it.
No, okay, yeah. So he's talking about the Nibiru cutscene skipped.
Basically, there's a trick that like you fight Naboru and you leave the target at like a very specific remaining health, let's say. And what I have to do is clip through the wall while dropping a bomb to kill him while I'm warping out. But I'm kind of bad at it, so I don't want to do it.
Yeah, if you die here, you get sent to the front of the dungeon. You don't even get sent to the Mirror Shield ledge. Because this is the boss of a dungeon. It exists in an entirely different area than the main dungeon. And the boss areas, they're hard-coded to always put you at the very front of the dungeon, no matter which entrance you actually entered in, if you die.
By the way, if I crouch on her right leg, or should I say her left leg, but right for us, I can actually avoid every of her attacks. So that's why I didn't get hit right there.
Yeah, one hit would have killed him. It does 4 hearts of damage, so it's scary.
Yeah, the thing is that if I miss the Naboru cutscene skip, I'd have to do the Spirit Hover as well, again.
Yeah. You'd have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah. But then again, I can die to Nrova. If I die to it, like, no, I'm not gonna not gonna jinx it.
I mean, if you die to Twin Rover, you probably deserve it.
Don't curse the run.
She's right though.
But I can be very unlucky with Twin Rover in general.
Yeah, the main thing you worry about here as a speedrunner is there's randomness to the fight.
Yeah, the first phase can be random.
Well, the randomness being that like they actually they shoot their lasers, fire or ice. Well, it doesn't matter if it's fire or ice, but what matters is their positioning. What I can do actually to stop someone from moving is actually spam the hook shot. If I spam the hook shot, they're gonna turn around on themselves, and that gives me sometimes a good aim afterwards if I want to aim my shield to them. But
Yeah,
sometimes they can be in a weird position.
it can help, but it's not really a guarantee. Like, there are some positions that you just can't work with because like the other one isn't even on the screen at all.
We'll see.
There are some times when the same witch can attack multiple times in a row without having to move. So if you get lucky like that, that can save some time. I think it might be a random amount of time between their attacks too, I'm not sure.
That was a good spot.
But yeah, so that's one hit. He needs 4 total hits on this phase. It doesn't matter which witch gets hit. But you need 4 total hits.
Got lucky.
Yeah, it was nice that that she flew on screen. She could have flown behind you just as easily, and you wouldn't have been able to do anything. Yeah, this is not looking too bad.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, here we go. Now that should be it.
Hook shot right there for the cutscene. Well, I mean,
Oh,
never mind.
yeah,
It prevents them to skip a turn. Sometimes it's gonna happen, and just aiming for their hook shot there cancels that animation that can happen at random.
Yeah, so if one of the witches already decided that they're going to do another attack before you got the 4th hit in, they will just continue to do it unless you hook shot to force them to spin. So yeah, so you can actually sometimes just get a random attack, and like if you didn't know that, then it'll seem like it was for no reason. But then the phase will still end. This phase is pretty straightforward.
So basically what I do, I don't know if we talked about that earlier, but if you jump slash does a certain amount of damage. I think it's 2 or 4, I'm not sure.
Master Sword is 4.
Master Sword is 4.
Master Sword jump slash is 4.
Yeah, and the normal slash is 2 damage, basically. It's not really shown on the screen, but what I do is that if I jump slash, and afterwards I crouch stab, the crouch stab is actually the damage that wasn't put on the slash that was done before. So it's going to do jump slash damage by doing crouch stab that you can spam or time, so which is very convenient in that case because I was able to kill Twin Rova in 1 cycle.
Yeah, that's called power crouch stab. Basically, the game, they forgot to program in a value for the crouch stab for damage. So it'll just do the damage of the last attack that you did when you enter the area. If you haven't done an attack yet, then it defaults to a Kokiri Sword Slash, actually, which does 1 damage. Power crouch stab is used. It's used a lot in pretty much every category. Because you activate infinite sword glitch using a crouch stab, your ISG damage is also whatever is in your power crouch stab. So it's basically the same thing.
May I take a few minutes of your time, guys?
Of course.
We got 2 donations. The first one, $20 from Meowned, who says, just won a new keyboard at DreamHack Montreal. Good luck with the run. Zelda Ocarina of Time is an amazing game. Get that Triforce and save the world. And we have Sinet, who give $250 right on the site, and says, Morgs, Quand tu seras à Ganon, dis so long, King Bowser.
Ben oui, évidemment. Ouais, je vais essayer parce qu'il faut que je fasse time en même temps, fait que on verra. Mais ouais, je vais le faire pour toi. Sinon, Yortis sont 250, ça serait poche. Alright. So what we're gonna do right now is talk to René Angelil one last time, and then we're gonna go straight to Forest Temple. Because the game that right now considers that you have all the medallions, so he's basically just saying, well, now that you have all the medallions, go to Ganondorf, or something like that, I guess. It's written in Japanese, and I don't read Japanese, so whatever.
Yeah, what? I'm trying to remember what he says. I did know. Oh yeah, he says to go speak to Sheik at the Temple of Time, now that you have all 6 medallions.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go into Forest Temple. There's a bunch of cool tricks happening in there as well, so that they can get the bow earlier. It's gonna be fun.
I think Forest Temple is my favorite part of this run, honestly.
I'm actually bad at it, but oh well, we'll see.
But yeah, so you need the bow to be able to have a quiver to shoot light arrows. Getting the bow is the only way without item manipulation to have a quiver. I guess technically with other glitches that aren't allowed in this, you can shoot arrows without having a quiver, but this game is weird. Anyways, you need 3 small keys to get to the bow Stalfos fight. So the first key is in here. The second one he's gonna go get is
I don't remember where. Where did I get the other one?
The main Stalfos.
Oh, yeah,
or the first Stalfos.
Yeah, you're right.
You actually have to get that one no matter what, because otherwise the bow Stalfos won't trigger. They're actually in the same room, the exact same room. The bow Stalfos are on the 2nd level, but that fight won't trigger unless you kill the ones for the small key first.
Yeah. It's pretty much obligated.
I actually, I think I theorized at one point that it would be faster to get the Floor Master key instead of, no, not instead, you get it in. There was another key that I got instead that I thought would be faster, and then it just didn't end up working.
Since I'm really bad at the Stalfos game, normally what people do, they do a combination of crouch stab, but I'm gonna use Infinite Sword Glitch instead because I'm a chicken.
Sorry, I said 3 keys. You need 2. You actually you skip a key. I forgot. You skip a key by going into the northwest courtyard and doing a mega jump.
Yeah, you're right.
Intriguing.
I'm thinking of randomizer stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of places where I have to get keys anyway. Right now I have 2, which is exactly what I needed to get to the bow. Anyway. There's going to be a cool trick right here where I'm going to go through the blue block. I'm going to try to do it unbuffer at first.
Yeah, this is another ledge clip. It works the same way as the ones he did in Shadow and Spirit. Nice. And again, it's frame perfect. There's very low cost to failing that one though, so generally people will go for it unbuffered. So this mega jump, basically, if you equip hover boots on the frame where you have the most speed after damage pushes you off a ledge, you keep all of that speed during your jump. That's called a mega jump.
That was one pause as well. Nice.
Yeah.
That was first try too.
And he's going to use, we don't have a strength upgrade to push these blocks. They require the Goron bracelet at minimum. So he's going to do ground jumps to climb on top of them. Because of these rounded corners in these passageways, you can actually clip through those corners and you do the ground jump and climb on top of the blocks. And from on top of this one, you can actually roll.
It's called the impossible jump, but it is not impossible.
It's
awkward at least.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's not that hard, but it's hard to understand it
when you fail it
spatially.
Like I failed it at some point and I lost a minute and a half because of that. Just because it's such a bummer of a run killer, you know.
So ZFG actually found that in like 2011 or 2012, and before that, we used a hover boost to the far ledge in like the more open area of it, and then ZFG realized one day that you could just roll to that ledge, and he was just like, why are we this stupid? How did we miss this for so many years? The Stalfos do 1 heart of damage if they slash you, and they do 2 hearts if they jump slash you, so I love how the fights can be kind of scary.
And that one the first fight on this fight can be tricky because the Straffle sometimes he's just gonna stay in the middle for a while.
Yeah, actually if you fall in the pit, it's really bad news, because you end up in the lower room and you have to come all the way back.
What's it? Stop. Was doing the tango for a second.
But since ISG prevents you from falling off ledges, I think that helps with that.
Yeah.
You grabbed the Deku Nut during the cutscene, wow.
Yeah, and that is actually optimal because I can go to the chest earlier.
Yeah.
And that's completely random, so.
That's insane. I've never seen that before, but that actually saved time.
That was pretty funny. So you're gonna warp to Minuet again, and just gonna save warping to the depth all the time, so you can go to Sheik.
Yeah, if you save warp inside a dungeon, you get put at the front entrance. So the other option would be to do a double save warp. And on Wii Virtual Console, that's slower because you get the classic controller text here.
Yeah, which is, I find the biggest con of the Virtual Console when it comes to Zelda round.
If you want to have a world record in that category, we normally recommend to play on the Nintendo 64, the Japanese version, and especially the version 1.0, where there are a couple of different tricks you can pull off, like Blankate for bottom of the well and a bunch of different tricks. So, and also you can actually kill Bongo Bongo in a funnier way. So.
Yeah, the version 1.0 glitches, they're only legal to use on N64 in the speedrunning community because that's the only, N64 is the only platform that 1.0 got released for. The virtual consoles and stuff like that, they're all the 1.2 version.
Exactly. There's 1.0, 1.1, 1.2. Not a lot of people run on 1.1, to be honest, and I'm not sure why.
It's kind of useless. Like,
yeah.
all the good stuff got patched out of 1.1.
Yep. And it's funny because, like, depending on the categories, you need to play a different console for it to be, like, the optimal play, you know?
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I really like about OOT. So the 1.0 glitches, they're helpful in only some categories. There's only some categories where they're relevant. In some other categories, there are glitches that are exclusive to Virtual Console, like get item manipulation and shield dropping bomb shoes in a void. Those only work on VC and GameCube, I think. So,
well, with the GameCube, that's funny because GameCube is the fastest version known for no resource requirement, 100%. I believe so, right?
I think that's because I think you do Skull Kid Heart Piece dupe. I think that might be the reason.
That would make sense.
The GameCube's loading is different, and there's a particular category where you want to dupe heart pieces as much as possible, and the GameCube has the highest limit to let you do that without crashing. I'm pretty sure that's why.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, actually, it might be because bomb shoes in a void. That might be another reason. Shield dropping a bomb shoe in a void crashes the game on N64.
Yep.
If there's no ground under you. On Virtual Console, it works like normal. On GameCube, you get a double explosion, which means that you don't have to do any fancy stuff while hovering. Hovering like will work automatically. This game is really weird. But yeah, there's like lots of different versions, and they actually pretty much have all their own categories that they're good for.
Yeah, but for the leaderboards though, let's say we're all running for the category Ganondorf source requirements. All the consoles are all mixed up in that category, which means that the person that has the world record right now is on Nintendo 64, but on that same ranking you'll have me with the Wii Virtual Console. It just depends on the ability to have the game first, of course, that helps, but mostly I would say that people mostly run on Wii VC because it's more convenient to have in general compared to the Japanese 1.0.
It's the easiest to get the Japanese version of if you don't have it already. And Virtual Console also saves time on lag and loading times. So that kind of balances out some of the time loss that you get from not being able to do version 1.0 tricks.
I just want to say one thing. I find I appreciate a lot the Virtual Console version due to the fact that it plays well, I find, and the loading is greatly a bit more better, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it doesn't emulate very accurately, honestly, but it emulates in a play that is pretty well playable. Like it's not bad to play on. Wii U Virtual Console is terrible though.
Oh, it is.
It's really bad.
It's actually slower than the Nintendo 64 one.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It's it's actually slower than the Nintendo 64 American one. Like it's actually very bad. The frame rate is worse than Nintendo 64.
I thought it was faster actually.
Nah, it's worse. It's actually worse. I think it's like 15 FPS. Because to the people that are in the room or in the chat right now, you know that most of the games run in 30 or 60 FPS, which means that when we talk about frame perfect tricks, it seems like a lot because it seems like, let's say, a 30th or a 60th of a second. But this game actually runs in 20 FPS, which means that I have 20th of a second to learn certain tricks or glitches, which is not that bad compared to the other games. Funny thing, actually, the infinite sword glitch that they do most of the run is a frame perfect trick, but it's actually quite easy to pull off because of the frame rate of the game.
Yeah.
It's usually a pretty low risk trick, so you can just try it again if you fail it. So it's not considered very difficult.
Exactly. So right now the world record that would have already been done, but it's okay. We're gonna go straight to Ganondorf right now because the game thinks that we have all the medallions.
I would like to take a short moment to thanks Oshizuna who give $10. Ouija, first time donating for something. Wee! Glad to help.
Thanks, buddy.
And just a quick reminder to let you know that you have until, well, you have this end of the round of Ocarina of Time. You have Metroid Prime right after, and we still have a milestone for the randomizer, Key Insanity, all dungeon for Zelda Link to the Past randomizer. So keep donating.
Are we killing the animals in Metroid Prime?
Might happen.
Well, Kill's winning right now.
So basically what happens here is that the game thinks that we have all the medallions, so it's going to construct a bridge from all the forces of the sages from all the medallions. But basically there are a couple of them still trapped in cage, so I'm not sure how that works, but it still does. But yeah. We're going to do a couple of tricks fun right here.
That bridge has some colors that it's not supposed to have.
Yeah. It's all the colors of all the medallions I'm supposed to have. I only have 2 of them.
Oh yeah, so there's a trick coming up he's going to do called Trial Skip. Are you going to do the hover method?
Yeah, the hover one.
Yeah, okay, so there's this barrier around the trials. You're supposed to do the 6 trials to defeat it, and it requires some items that he doesn't really have. Oh, this looks like the Mega Side Hop, actually.
Yes, it is, but somehow my timing wasn't right.
Okay, so anyways, the loading zone to enter the inner Ganon's Tower, it sticks out of the wall in a lot of places that it really shouldn't, and you can actually touch it from the outside here.
Not sure what that didn't work, but whatever. We'll try it again. I've been having a hard time with this trick. That's the last frame I get the edit. There you go.
Oh.
Alright.
Because of the nut. I just realized why, I'm normally used to just do 2 right and then choose the items.
Oh, it's messing up your menu because you don't usually have it. That's funny.
Yep. One way to use the magic right here.
Those 2 ones are annoying.
These are, yeah, they're annoying. Yeah. There you go.
I just want to remind you the request from earlier from that donation of $250 for the sentence you have to say at the end of the run when you beat Ganon. So long, King Bowser.
Thank you.
There's just these 3 fights that you have to do while climbing the tower. The Dinoclose, Stalfos, and Iron Knuckles. The Iron Knuckles are definitely the most scary because they can kill you in 1 hit.
Yeah.
There's kind of a setup that you do to try and you get behind them and you try and divide your damage between each of them as much as you can, so that they both lose their armor at about the same time. When they're losing their armor, that's a short amount of time where they can't do anything. Nice.
Yeah, sometimes it can be really scary.
That's what I talked earlier. Like if I hit one of the shields by accident, like that can happen. You have to time yourself a different way.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you can actually hit the axe. And that will cause you to recoil backwards, and it'll put you in a position that you don't expect to be.
Whatever. I'm
Can
still
we talk
trying to do
about
it.
this battle fight? Like the final battle? Like, can we talk about this fight? I find it's the most easiest one in the game.
He's trying to do a hyper-extended super slide here. Trying to get max speed ESS off this bomb, basically.
Yeah, I don't have enough bombs for the rest afterwards, so I have to be careful.
Oh yeah, we still need bombs for a trick that's coming up after Ganondorf.
Yep.
Failure.
I almost forgot Collapse existed. I'm getting spoiled.
You would?
I almost forgot Collapse existed.
Yeah, me too, almost. I guess it's too much randomizer for me.
I'm known to be very bad at this fight for some reason.
It's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
It's okay.
We have to be known for something.
So for the Ganondorf fight, he starts out by knocking the center ring of blocks, and then you have to play tennis with him to stun him, shoot him with a light arrow, and then you can damage him. And once you've stunned him, it's easy to do all of the damage to kill him with ISG. So the hard part of this fight is doing the tennis correctly, basically. And there are a few different ways that you can hit the energy ball back to get it to hit him in only 1 or 2 hits. The way that Morks likes to do it is just using a vertical slash, like jumping to the platform, I think, and doing a vertical slash. I think, like, in theory, it should be really consistent, but
It can be tedious.
Sometimes he's gonna try to throw it. Well, sometimes he's gonna try to pin us on the small platform. Once again, it happens a few times to me. It's pretty rare. Talk about
nice idle animation.
Why?
I can't believe he hit it back 3 times. Wow.
Okay.
I've actually never seen him. He hit it back twice. I've never seen him hit it back more than once.
Yeah,
doing it
I
from that
was surprised for
position.
the first one, and then he hit back again. I was like, that never happened. I'm gonna try to.
That's my fault, guys. I'm sorry.
Gonna go out.
And it does 3 hearts, so he can't get hit again. There we go.
Okay, we got this.
He's actually going to pull out the bow here because it changes the location of Link's sword's hitbox and ensures that the sword's hitbox is always inside him. If you leave the sword out, then it sometimes doesn't continue to hit him.
Because the hurt box of Ganon in that case is very tedious. It's like right inside of him, and the bow has like a nice range of where it can cover with the ISG compared to the sword, which is a linear line. So it's it's a bit weird in general, but with the bow we can guarantee to hit him constantly. Because the trick in there is because if you miss a frame of the hitting, because as you see it, like it goes in a cycle, but that cycle is actually, I hit it exactly the first frame that he recovers from it. But if it wasn't from that, he would actually recover from everything and just try to attack you again.
Yeah, if you can stun lock him manually, I think it's a 2-frame window to hit him.
If I remember correctly, it's not on Ganon, but on PG as well.
I'm sorry?
It's as well on PG, on Ganon Phantom.
Yeah. So right now, what I'm going to do, for the initial setups, I have to ESS turn right, left, and do a couple of setups that I clip in the ledge right in the back. And with the bomb, I'm going to drop myself in a sort of weird loading zone where I have to aim for a very, very precise angle so that I get the drop down and skip the collapse entirely. It's going to be quite tricky. Hope you get it.
Yeah, so this trick is called Void Warp, and the way that what's going to happen is he's going to void out from falling too far down and hit a loading zone further down in the tower at the exact same time. And the combination of those two things is going to spawn him inside the tower, but at the wrong coordinates.
Bro.
That's unlucky. The rock actually hit him. The bomb is supposed to hit him from there, and it's supposed to hit him in a particular trajectory to get into the loading zone. But the rock, you can't control what the rock does, so it's just going to hit you in kind of a random direction.
He has
die right here.
He has not enough health.
Yeah, not enough health to survive this.
This can kill a run, by the way. A run that you worked an hour and 20 minutes in, and it dies right there because the game was like, no.
Yeah, rocks are...
I don't want to.
Rocks are something.
Yeah, so he's going to take 1 heart of damage from voiding out itself, and then he's going to take another heart of damage from the fall damage once he's inside the tower, because he's going to spawn really high in the tower out of bounds, and he's going to try and jump slash with a particular angle that'll let him get back in bounds near the bottom of the tower to skip most of the collapse sequence. This is pretty tricky.
I think you get it. Yeah, it happened.
There's a lot of dangerous things that can happen here. Nice.
And just a quick one, donation, $8.63 from Mark SR saying 2K hype. Just reached $2,000. Thank you very much, everyone.
Nice super slide.
Thank you. I don't even do that in my runs. I just practice it there.
Nice.
This
gets you the, people call this the kiss. You can do it without the super slide. You can set it up manually too, but basically, if you're in that exact position, Zelda looks like she's kissing you while the door's opening, and she actually like pushes you into the loading zone during that, so you don't have to move into it at all. It saves a very small amount of time not having to move after that cutscene. One of the dangers of the Void Warp that he was doing, one of the dangerous things that can happen is you can actually hit other loading zones that still exist in the tower instead of getting back in bounds. And if you hit a different loading zone, you're now on the exterior of the tower in some random spot without Zelda with you, so you can't open the door, so you have to die to reset the whole sequence.
You know what I forgot? Only have 1 bomb.
That's okay. That's all you need.
No, it's not.
Just pause buffer the super slide.
Yeah, of course.
There's a setup for it.
I don't know it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, teach me
okay.
now. Yeah,
okay,
of course.
So like she'll drop the bomb in place, do a neutral roll, backflip, and then I think it's the second blue frame after the 6th flash. You mash A.
Okay. Oh yeah, right before, like the big blue or the blue before that?
It's not big. It's, you have to count bomb flashes, so it's the 6th flash,
okay.
And it's 2 blue frames after it, I think.
Okay.
Oh, that's like 8th flash.
Oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant like from the beginning. Oh well.
All right, so normally there's a setup right here that I have to do the same mechanic that I did once I escaped the castle and went directly to get rid of Fortress. What that does is that I hold my shield up, and holding my shield up prevents Ganon from throwing off my sword. So basically I keep my sword for the first half of the fight. funny thing though is that I never did that fight without a sword.
Oh, so this
It's
is
gonna be fun.
new.
It's gonna be fun. I'm not sure what to do. Well, I have the light arrows, but
You also, okay, you also have Deku Nuts.
no, yeah, no, forget it, dude. I'm not gonna start using deck nuts.
It's the easiest way to kill. Like you just roll behind him and you throw a nut, basically.
yeah.
That's 5 hits, and then the other 5 hits you like use the hook shot or something.
The deck
Yeah.
is gonna be useful for once.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
good.
try that.
I seriously recommend this to people. Like I've recommended this to people who play randomizer if they get here and they don't.
If you don't have bigger on sword, if you don't have hammer, it's worth it.
Just make sure.
It's okay.
I don't have enough.
Use the hook shot.
Nope.
That works too.
Bro. He takes so much hits.
So he takes 10 hits in this phase. Well, he had 10 HP in this phase, and he's coded to have everything do 1 damage to him except for the Master Sword and Deku Sticks, because they didn't think about Deku Sticks, and Deku Sticks kind of do the same damage as the Master Sword anyways.
It's such a weird. It's not over yet, but it's such a weird. Oh my God, he's right there. Okay, that's gonna be awkward.
One more.
So long, King Bowser. Get ready for time as soon as I slash him. Yes, up 130. Let's go.
I'll be honest, I was a bit afraid.
Time. All right. And this was Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf source requirement. Yeah, sure. All right, so I'm gonna make it fast. Shout outs to everyone who was watching me right now, I guess, and watching the whole Speedrun NoReset Marathon. Thanks for donating money for Répi Saint Louis, which is a good cause, by the way. You should definitely donate for that cause. Also, shout outs to my regular viewer on Twitch, which is La Ralph, right behind me. He's always there every time I stream, or almost. And most of the time I stream, I have one viewer, and it's that guy, so shout outs to him. Shout out to my girlfriend. She doesn't know anything about video games, but just sitting right behind and is like, oh yeah, I guess it's good what he did. Yeah, let's go. You know. So thanks for being here. Shout outs to Patty right behind me, my first speedrun friend, and to of course the whole community, the people on the couch, commentary, and for everyone being in the room right now. Thanks for being right here for speedruns. It's a cool way to play games. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess you don't want to watch the whole ending cutscene, so I guess that's it. Is that it? Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for that awesome run. We are going to head to a quick commercial break, and then right after is Metroid Prime.